run. Ricky Stenhouse is the points leader, the champion of the Daytona 500. And we're looking ahead to the Auto Club 400 in Fontana, California. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Dan. This is my son, Nick. I'm at home. He's away at college. How you doing, Nick?
I'm all right. Been busy, but I got to see some good racing up until the end, I guess, but overall good.
Yeah. This year is off to a wild and crazy start, wouldn't you say?
I would agree with that.
So why don't we start with the guy who took the checkered flag, Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
I mean, just impressive win. Crazy couple of restarts, cautions at the end, the overtime, but Stenhouse in the end was able to come out on top. And I like it. I like Stenhouse. I like that he's in the playoffs already, sealing his ticket right away. It's going to be good things.
I give him credit, first of all, for surviving, because most of the drivers can't say that they survived Daytona. And then secondly, for being able to be in front at the end when it really counted. At the same time, would you say that he had the best car in the field?
Well, definitely not.
I guess it's rare on a super speedway that the best car in the field is the race winner. Last week, we talked about how we had just left Truex out of the discussion preseason. And then Truex goes and he wins the Clash. Then in our last episode, also, we, and I guess really me, I was trashing Brad Keselowski.
Yeah.
And then he maybe had the best car in the field or one of the best cars in the field at Daytona. So what's going on here? Are we putting a little reverse jinx on some drivers or what?
I don't know. That might be part of it. I was really surprised with Keselowski, and he was in a good spot at the end, and things got crazy. But I don't know. It's just weird. And Daytona is another one of those weird ones. And this one especially had just a really bizarre ending where it's not the best car, but the one that survives. Only like the top. I don't even know if it was top 15 cars actually finished the race.
Blaney finished eighth, and you saw what Blaney's car looked like, and you saw what he had been through. He finishes eighth in the race because he was still able to get that thing to roll around the track at the end.
Yeah, and I mean, and there's his stage points with the destroyed car, and he's still able to succeed with that. But that just
Mhm.
shows how weird this race ended.
Well, you had Brad and Busher when they were linked up in the front. They looked hard to catch. But then you also had, as we were getting into the closing laps, you had your boys Dylan and Bush hooked up, and they had a little bit of help from Chevrolet with them, but they were looking like, all right, these are going to be the guys to beat. It always had
Mm-hmm.
to be interrupted by the field getting wrecked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both those pairs were really facing off at the end, and I think it was Larson with the first wreck who got turned, and that just started throwing everyone off. But I don't know. I mean, both of them look great. I was really surprised with Keselowski though.
So whoever we snub or give a hard time to this week, maybe you should just make that your pick for California this coming Sunday. Speaking of our picks, okay, I don't know why we even bother on Daytona. So you had Bubba Wallace to win. He finished 20th. He was pretty good.
He was all right. I never was like, oh, he's gonna win. He didn't show me that he was gonna win, but he was decent. But he got taken out early.
Okay, I had William Byron to win. He finished 34th. He
Mm-hmm.
looked pretty good at times too. Maybe never looked like he was going to be the winner, but we had for our third top three driver, we had Kyle Larson. He finished 18th. He had a good car, but kind of the same deal. We might need to do a little bit of work on our sleepers. I had Justin Haley. He finished 32nd. He was caught up in a wreck, but I never really saw his car in the race that I can think of. And you had Briscoe as your sleeper. He finished 35th, caught up
Yeah.
in a wreck. If you got a car and you entered Daytona 500, you don't have to be fast. You just have to make the minimum speed and you cruise around the back and you've got a top 15 finish. Boom, automatic.
like Travis Pastrana started
Mhm.
40th. I think he was a top 15 finish.
And if he wasn't, he was in that last wreck. If
Mm.
he had not been in that last wreck, he would have been top 10, driving around in the rear all day.
It just bizarre stuff. It really was impossible for us to make good picks because everyone we picked just gets wrecked.
But congratulations to Ricky Stenhouse. He's in a great position. He'll be able to enjoy the rest of this year, I'm sure. How much change has happened to your power rankings since our preseason?
Well, not a ton of change, just because I don't want to make any drastic decisions still while it's so early. But a couple movers, one decent sized mover, and of course I had to add Stenhouse to give him some sort of credit. I'm not going all crazy, but I put him in at 17th, which is he's gonna come after Cindric because I moved Bubba Wallace up from 19th to 16th. So both
Okay.
edging Eric Jones down, but still both after Cindric, in my opinion, right now. And then my biggest mover went from 20th to 13th, Austin Dillon.
Okay.
He's been looking good. And I'm telling you, with this
Mhm.
Kyle Busch team up, I think 20th is not deserving. I think 13th will work a lot better, and we'll see where it goes from there. And then in terms of top guys, Logano, he's going to be a threat, whether I like it or not. I had him
Mhm.
7th. I moved him up to 5th, get him a little near the top because I think he finished top 3 of Daytona, and he looked good the whole time.
Yeah.
Reddick, I had to be a little realistic here. I don't know if he's top 3 material right now. I moved him to
Uh-huh.
6th. I'm not going to completely drop him off. And I think that's it for my changes.
The changes that I have are going to kind of reflect yours as far as moving up or down. Though I already had him ranked ahead of you, but based on Joey Logano's performance so far, I've moved him from fifth all the way to second in my power rankings as of his current form. My biggest faller from my preseason power rankings is Ryan Blaney. I've got him, I had him at fourth. I've got him all the way down at eighth now. I was pretty high on Blaney coming into the season. I said that he really had the potential to win a lot of races. Now, I'm just not sure if his race team can get over these one critical errors that seem to happen to them in every race. So I'm a little bit sour on Blaney right now. I'm hoping that he can get that together and they can actually finish.
Yeah, no, I hope so. That's an interesting point that you bring up with their critical errors, which they do seem more apparent every race. But I have Blaney at 6th, and I'm keeping him there for now. But you're right, if things could be looking rough.
I also moved Austin Dillon up. I had him at 16. Now he's at 14. I had Austin Cindric at 13th, and I've moved him down to 16th. They're off to a little bit of a slow start, but I'm confident they can recover. And Martin Truex Jr. has broken into my rankings at number 20.
All right. You believe in there's hope?
Well, I think, just like you think you decide you need to get Stenhouse in there,
Yeah.
give him some credit. Same thing with me and Truex. I've got him in there until he proves that he's not worthy of the top 20. Any drivers that would be ranked outside of the top 20 that you feel like are moving up to the fringe?
Well, definitely I have my eyes on Keselowski. I didn't want to make any big moves with him yet, but if he has a car like he had at Daytona, then he could be a factor in these upcoming races. And also Truex, I never really brought him in like you did, but still
Mm-hmm.
I do respect he's got the win and he's got the skill. So
Yeah,
he's also right there on the edge.
yeah. A driver that's outside the top 20 that I've been impressed with, even though the final results don't show it, is Ryan Preece. He has looked very comfortable in that 41 car. He's had speed. So I think we might see some good things coming from him soon. So we got the preseason off with a bang in Los Angeles in the Coliseum. Then the drivers come all the way to Florida. Now they're going all the way back to California again for race number 2 on the schedule. In Fontana, it's the Auto Club 400 coming up. I believe this is going to be the last race on this track in its current configuration. It is a 2-mile track, so it's a little bit larger than intermediate. And this is a track that has high tire wear. It's hard on the tires. You might remember last season, this was the second points race of the next gen car, and this was the race where it seemed like half the field were blowing tires, and it was causing a big stir.
Yeah, no, I remember that. And I still kind of feel like that's going to be a factor. Like with the tire wear on this track has been bizarre, and it could take good guys out or really just set them back.
I'm hoping that they've done what they need to correct the tire that they're using at this track, so we just don't see that many random things. It's good for drivers to take care of their tires, but we don't want to see them eliminated just because their tires failed for no good reason.
Yeah.
Nick, do you remember Tyler Reddick and Austin Dillon? Reddick was dominating until he was victim of a tire. And then Austin Dillon was also very good, and he ended up second in this race last year. Of course, a whole year has passed. That was only the second points race of the next gen car. There's been a lot of learning and experience that's happened in that time. So, but that Richard Childress team was strong last year. Think that bodes well for your guys, your new favorite guys?
Yeah, I think it does bode well. I completely forgot about, I guess this was the time last year when Reddick started heating up and we're like, oh, this guy can win. And then he started winning. But I forgot that Austin Dillon was a big player in that, and him finishing second.
The Chevrolets were really good. Kyle Larson was the winner of that race. And we thought, okay, here we go again with Kyle Larson, but it turned out, no, not so much. He didn't win again until the playoffs last year, I don't think.
I think you're right.
If you're just looking at track history, Kyle Busch has one of the strongest cases for winning this race. Kyle Busch, last year, he ended up 14th in the race, but the two prior California races to that, he's been second and he's been first. Then there have also been a pair of Ford drivers who have done very well in the past year, and that's Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano. So, Nick, let me go ahead and give you my pick to win the Auto Club 400. This guy has been very strong. Not only strong, but he's been able to survive calamities. He finished third at Daytona, and this is going to be his kickoff for the rest of the season. Christopher Bell is my pick to win at California.
I think that's a solid pick for California. Bell's always got speed, and he's a good contender for this one.
Yeah. It will be interesting to see what the speeds are like on these cars when they get some practice. Hopefully they're going to get some practice in around the qualifying time. But I think it will make a difference because this is a large track. It's not a pack racing track, but it's a large track. So speed is important. And we'll see if the Chevrolets dominate like they did last year, or if the Fords and the Toyotas have done some things to catch up.
Yeah, for sure. Practice is going to be crucial because you're right. Speed is a big thing on this.
So who do you like in this one, Nick?
Well, I think Kyle Busch is the man. You said his previous, he's 14, second, and then he won. I think Kyle Busch, he looked great at Daytona, had a little mess up, little accident at the end, but this is his time. He's going to start off the season great with a win. He's going to kick back and relax the rest of the season and then get ready for the playoffs.
Okay. All right. I think that's a strong pick too. This new race team for him has been a good thing. He seems a lot happier as far as his interactions with the media. It seems like he and Dylan are actually working together. You know, some race teams, you know, they on paper they're supposed to be together, but these guys seem like they're legitimately, you know, Austin Dillon mentioned in an interview that he was trying to help Kyle Busch get the Daytona 500 win.
That's real teamwork right there.
Yeah. That's one that Busch has not won before. So we've got Christopher Bell in the Toyota, my pick, Kyle Busch in the Chevrolet, your pick, for our consensus top three, number 3 driver. Should we go with a Ford?
I mean, a Ford would be strong. I was gonna suggest Logano just because he's been good on this race and this season he's come out really strong. I think he'd be a strong pick for this.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on Logano. He's come out strong for his title defense. As far as sleepers go for this race, I am going to bring another Ford. And this is a guy who we really haven't seen a whole lot of yet this season, but I believe he's going to have some speed. I believe we're going to see him up there at the end, and that's Michael McDowell.
Oh, McDowell sleeper. I actually like that for a sleeper pick. All right, for me, I've got Kyle Busch winning, but if he can't win, the next best thing will win, and that'll be his teammate helping him out the way through. I know you're probably sick of me talking about this. If one of these two guys doesn't win, I'm never picking them as a winner and sleeper ever again, right here, right now. One of these two guys is going to win this race. I'm confident.
You haven't actually said who
I didn't
it
even
is.
say his name. Austin Dillon is my sleeper pick.
Okay, I think everybody knew that, but you gotta put it out there verbally. Nick, I'm just gonna buy you some RCR gear and I'm gonna send it to you.
You might have to, but hey, if one of these two guys doesn't win, I'm not doing the RCR combo again. You probably don't even want to hear me go on and on about these two guys. Kyle Busch will win. They'll be leaning against the car, hanging out. It'll be a great time.
No, I'm enjoying it as well. So I'll be cheering with you if that were to happen.
So the Xfinity race is supposed to run on Saturday, but as of right now, Saturday, it's projected to have a 90% chance of rain. So if that were to happen, then Xfinity race would actually take place after the Cup race on Sunday.
Okay. And then that could also have an effect on the Cup practice and qualifying, which I'm assuming is scheduled for before that Saturday Xfinity race.
Yeah, it's scheduled for 2 o'clock on Saturday, which that could also potentially be rained out.
So that could be a big deal, and then we end up with the starting order determined by that formula, and we won't know about speeds until the cars get out there.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to at least do a little bit of like practice before it starts raining if it does.
I'll look forward to this race.
Should be a good one.
So enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.